ridiculous performance. It was incredibly impressive, but here we go. Game number 1. That's cool.
I just realized something.
Yeah?
They have it sunny in the background, not night, because it's the first series.
And I only just realized that as well, right? And it's in the first series, it's daytime on Summoner's Rift, and in the second series, because it's later, it's nighttime. It's so cute.
Oh my... They are so on top of their game.
Oh, man. It's incredible.
And do you know what's on top of Summoner's Rift?
What's that?
Teamfight Tactics. It's floating right above.
Our Teamfight Tactics overlords. It's actually going on right now.
That's where the little legends are.
It's actually really scary if we keep...
Marionetting?
Yeah, you know how the observers sometimes zoom out? Now if they zoom out too far, it's going to bonk onto the bottom of Teamfight Tactics.
You're actually going to queue into a game or something.
We might clip through and like we're just checking out the carousel.
You ever wonder where those dead champions go? This is where they end up.
Oh my goodness.
It's essentially heaven and hell.
Yep, no, I understand. Well, Life is going to try his hand at the Yuumi. And with Ruler's Ezreal there on top of him, I mean, I feel like as far as this lane is concerned, like the two players piloting these champions could certainly work out. He's done it quite a few times so far and only found one victory. So, see whether Gen.G can find some better fortunes.
Oh, GP rolling some mana potions pretty early on. Must be nice. Must be nice to run like God.
Well, I mean, this is just... it's a bit of a nasty time here to be CuVee. He's got an unsealed spellbook. He's going to be able to get around this map relatively effectively. And at least, I guess, you know, the Gangplank isn't going to kill him.
Well, he can. That's the scary thing. Even with the Kleptomancy, there's definitely kill potential by the Gangplank until the first recall comes in for Tom. And with the Spellbook, he doesn't actually have kill pressure. The only way to actually kill GP as Tom would be to run Phase Rush and then try to kill him, because he always gets out of your Devour, but you can manage to stay on top of him. And so without that actually being present, CuVee's in this for the long haul, which is really scary. Especially when you consider the Jax isn't really able to help, given that he's blue side Jax, and so it's a long lane gank coming from left side River, which is a little bit difficult for him to orchestrate. So we'll have to see.
He's also going to end up on bottom side of the map as well, given his blue side start. So yeah,
things are going to be a little bit rough there up in top lane.
Well, CuVee, this is the experience that he's had on Summoner's Rift almost throughout his games. So he's no stranger to just taking the abuse and hoping that it frees up pressure elsewhere on the map. But already 400 gold is the lead, and I'm assuming that that's almost 100% Khan taking money out of the catfish like a pinata.
That's really rude.
Yeah.
You know, that's
exactly what it is, though, man. Like,
catfish have rights.
They do.
Someone needs to call PETA.
Yeah. You know my mum's name's PETA? I always get really confused.
PETA? Really?
Yeah, P-E-T-A. And it's spelled exactly the same way as PETA. Animal Rights Organization. And so when people say call PETA, I'm like, why? You need to tell my mum something? Like,
I do.
What's going on?
I do.
Oh, really?
I need to tell her that her son is very handsome.
Aww.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nicholas.
No Kappa prides in chat.
No, you can certainly put your Kappa prides in chat. It's absolutely fine. Okay, SKT. They're more than happy to have this game be a bit slow for the first little while. Who's got the onus as far as the mid-game is concerned, though? Because I'm looking at this SKT comp with their Akali, especially with their bottom lane that has so much engage and Clid on the Xin Zhao. Like around about the 10-minute mark, I think we could be going for some fights around Dragon, some fights around the Rift Herald to really get things moving on SKT's side.
Well, SK Telecom will definitely have the onus on them, as Corki and Ezreal are going to say to themselves, okay, well, you want to pick Kalista Akali, you're going to have to come into us. Now, the good thing for SKT is that their top laner has essentially a free lane for his scaling.
Yep.
And an Infernal has rolled, which is really, really good for them. If they can get an Infernal and then roll like a hero into a Mountain Dragon, that would help them so much in the mid-game, trying to fork I always got to be careful when I go for that one. Gen.G with a Baron play. And that can definitely be an easy access win because Ezreal and Corki are really, really bad against Baron power play pushes. And that's going to be SK Telecom's way to victory because they're very reliant. They have no siege on their team composition. They don't realistically have any poke. Gangplank barrels do not count.
Nope.
And in the later stages of the team fight, Tom is able to hold his own in between minion waves against the Gangplank, so it's unrealistic for a split push win con. So SK Telecom will need Baron. Even if they have a 5,000 gold lead, 22, 23 minutes, it doesn't really mean anything, given that the Ezreal and the Corki are always going to be fighting on their conditions, in theory.
Yep. And their competition basically just fights around neutrals. That's like almost all it can do.
This is really good. Unfortunately, Jax is highlighted. I really, really wish I could tell you how much a Kalista was about to get, or an Akali.
He ain't gonna. CuVee's got 69 AD though, so that is that's exciting. Khan taking a bit of tongue lash damage, but otherwise straight up does not care. Yeah, hasn't taken a turret plate yet. When your Gangplank starts pushing in and taking turret plates, that's when you know you're having a bad time. But CuVee's at least kept up in the farm. Things going all right. Gets himself very, very deep control ward into SKT's jungle also.
And he's itemized really well as well. Going for the tier 2 boots this early on, he's able to take a little bit more of a beating, remain mobile, and try to look for plays elsewhere because you know you can't actually do anything to GP straight up.
Yeah. Effort and Teddy. Looks like they're getting a little bit frisky down here on the bottom side. You can see that largely because Clid is in the area. Gets down, clears out all of the vision, triple control ward. This is the reason why that Infernal Drake was so incredibly free on SKT's side. About 2.5 minutes, sorry, until Shelly shows her face. Kuzan comes in. We do have a couple of Sheens completed on Gen.G's side. No Trinity Forces just yet, as far as those corporate power spikes that we love to talk about taking place. We'll see where Ruler's going to go as far as his build, whether it is the Iceborne Gauntlet or something like the Trinity Force that we've seen a few of our Ezreals start taking if they do have the augmentation of the Yuumi. What would be your suggestion as far as Ezreal build this game?
I would be really surprised to not see an Iceborne Gauntlet only because it's so effective against all of the members on SKT. You know that they have to dive into you.
Yeah.
The Kalista has to kite in. Nautilus has to try to land a hook onto you or R you into engaging onto you. Xin Zhao needs to engage onto you. Your teammates want as much peel as possible against this extremely aggressive, divey type of SK Telecom team composition. And so I think the Iceborne is just such a powerful augment to that. And so we'll have to see what he ends up electing to go. I would be really disappointed to not see an Iceborne Gauntlet. However, SK Telecom fans can rejoice as SKT is... They're rolling pretty hot today, as it's going to be double Infernal, and you know that second one's going over to them too.
Oh, yes.
So
I have a feeling that Gen.G will fight for that one, though, because I think that the double Infernal will take away any sort of scaling advantage that you have. It almost always does. We saw in the Sandbox series, Gen.G fell victim to exactly that. They got triple Infernaled, and that allowed Sandbox to find their way back into a game that Gen.G honestly should have been able to win. And there are a few throws, but it was mostly that.
It's really sad to see, because if you're Gen.G right now and SK Telecom rolled a Clown Drake, you would say to yourself, okay, no big deal. If SK Telecom rolled an Ocean Dragon, no big deal. Mountain Dragon, okay, it's a little bit problematic, but there's still ways to manage it. When they start getting these Infernal Dragons and they have such augmentation to their mid-game power spike and their ability to threaten certain things on the map that happened that early prior to Baron even existing, that's where things can get a little bit dicey, and it does feel very bad, like you were pointing out, in regards to the scaling advantage that you would otherwise have, because all their numbers are getting bolstered and amplified. I don't think that double Infernal makes Gen.G out of the game. It does definitely soften the blow, and it's extremely helpful for SK Telecom.
It might change the Gen.G win condition, though, which is the really rough thing, right? And it'll create another way for SKT to win this game. Give them some more opportunities. Because it means split push is going to be an option, right? If they start getting to a point where Faker's just going to have so much more bang for his buck. Infernal Drake, of course, scales so well with Akali, just because she can utilize both the AP and the AD.
Right.
And the Gangplank is another one. You know, you can actually get to raid boss status as the GP, and also he's happy to have a bit of AP on his side. Also means those oranges going to be a whole lot more effective. Faker goes down to about half health, taking that fast bomb to the face as Gen.G do get some priority here in this mid lane 40 seconds before the Infernal. And
40 seconds before the Infernal, but Kuzan is at half mana. He does still have a lot of his biscuits in the Corrupting Potion. Faker
getting chunked, though, yeah, on Faker's
has teleport,
side.
though.
Yeah, it does have teleport.
So Faker's going to be able to come back into this lane, TP here. You can notice that Khan's TPing. Now, I'm curious to see if we'll see the rotation out of Khan that I've talked about many times on the broadcast, which is you hard crash the wave on a cannon, you path to the dragon, you teleport back up to top lane. Doesn't look like that's actually going to be the case.
He does have Cannon Barrage, so this is a Gangplank, so it's a little bit of a different scenario. He
can
theoretically be there. As, okay, in goes Clid. Peanut does have the Counter-Strike, though, jumps over. The leap is going to be good. No summon is invested into that particular moment. Teleport from the Ezreal to get back to lane. That's the 2-for-1 special, giving Life the ability to move over there as well. That is going to be item spikes coming in, but Ruler could only purchase his pickaxe and an extra Sapphire Crystal, so not exactly too much. As now, CuVee's moved down, and you can see Gen.G do not want to give away that second Infernal.
And Gen.G, they don't want to give it away, but I really don't think that they're going to have a choice. That's so much gold that Tom would miss out on. He doesn't have teleport available. He has Abyssal Voyage, but it's a rank 1 Abyssal Voyage, so it is an Abysmal Voyage in its current state. And you can see he's moving down. That's really painful. Khan just actually killed Tahm Kench, basically.
Well, Khan's going to get the first roam as the Dredge line is going to land. Peanut explodes. Just nothing he can do. The final chapter comes in. Ruler's trying to get out of the way, but the Yuumi and the Ezreal just evaporate. That's going to be 3 kills as well as an Infernal Drake and SKT. A brilliant start and a great teamfight win.
And that churn of events is so massive of a tempo swing across the board. Khan indirectly killing Tahm Kench up in top lane is something that isn't occurring on our screens right now, and that was in terms of experience as well as minion gold. They get the dragon, which is the second Infernal Dragon. They get a teleport out of Gen.G as well, and Faker ends up picking up a kill there onto Ruler. They just get so much value. They get the Scuttle Crab, and now they're in complete dictatorship of the entire game. They should also be able to get the Rift Herald, which is then going to convert into more gold. It might be...
And this is a free rotation.
Yeah,
they can also make towards top side. They're looking for CuVee.
No, he's embraces.
Yeah, well,
he is embracing it.
They're able to use the Wind Becomes Lightning on the minion wave as well as the Tahm Kench for added efficiency, as CuVee is just obliterated.
It's very efficient.
Yeah.
It is extremely efficient.
The fact that you can have that thought, though, whilst he's dying is just the most dead for that Catfish. So, unfortunately, Sir Thomas goes down, and Teddy's going to reap the rewards. 2 of these turret plates coming in.
I don't think I've seen SKT rotate as good as they have this entire split as they are right now. They recognize, hey, the second Infernal Dragon went down. It doesn't matter if we trade plates in bot and top. We get to be in close proximity to the next major neutral, which is the Rift Herald. So it doesn't matter if we go blow for blow in terms of turret plates, because we win out elsewhere. We get a stronger priority rotation, we get more value on the map, and we continue to accelerate. It might be too far too gone for Gen.G here, who's down about 4,500 gold, as well as 2 Infernal Dragons at 14 minutes.
Well, this is even more impressive right now, because that tempo advantage that you're talking about, it's the proactive play with a plan from SKT's side. You see they littered this side of the jungle with Vision. Peanut completely in Vision here to SKT. Faker makes the first roam over, gets a flash for free out of Kuzan based on all that Vision that they had. They used the Rift Herald top side of the map, didn't exactly get a high value charge on that turret, but they allowed that tempo advantage of the Rift Herald to force Gen.G to move on over, as Khan had to flash top side of the map against CuVee before this play happened. Some added context there, guys, before he just went down for the most free kill.
Yeah. And he ended up only using his Ignite during that, not the end of the world. So, as we return to live, though, we can see that things are not going very hot for Gen.G.
Not so much, but the wave has been shoved out here by CuVee. Means that these are dead minions that he's never going to be able to walk up to, though, with the amount of control that SKT has on the top side of the map. Bottom side, there's still a few wards around the area, but Gen.G have lost control.
Let me tell you,
it's a bit rough. Yeah?
What would be very nice for SKT. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
But it would be nice.
What would be nice?
When Sir Thomas pushes the wave back into Gangplank, he utilizes his HP regen and 3 corrupting potions to freeze the wave in front of his turret. Well, hold on. I'll add the punchline.
Okay.
Indirectly or directly creating a neutral objective on the map in the form of a frozen minion wave that is causing the golden experience gap to widen with each passing minute, forcing a response from the losing team. I know.
That is
Season
insane.
9. We're in Season 9.
No, you can't.
Slow down.
You can't create a neutral objective.
Slow down.
No, the game has to revolve around a Baron buff or an Elder Dragon, and I will hear nothing else, LS.
All right.
Okay?
SK Telecom want to play ping pong. Watch as Khan is... He's going to be a gentleman. He's going to shove this wave back into Tom. They're going to play ping pong in top lane for a couple of minutes.
I mean,
wait a second.
Freezing this particular wave is actually utterly genius if he was able to do it.
If he had done it prior when Tom handed him the wave. But we don't see this in pro play yet.
Yeah. To take away from the sarcasm and the facetiousness that we were throwing out before, it actually creating extra objectives like that will suit this SKT composition that, like we said, had a pretty one-dimensional win condition with this composition. They don't siege
Corki could have
without Baron at all. You know, things like that.
What? Corki could have just froze. You saw the size of that wave Akali handed him?
Yeah.
He could have froze.
Yeah. But he's got a phosphorus there. And it feels really good murdering minion waves with a phosphorus.
But where does he have to be right now, Atlas?
He has to be on the bottom side of the map getting minions.
What does he need to do?
He needs to go and pick up a package.
He doesn't. He's under no obligation to fight. Just freeze the wave.
Well, speaking of waves, we saw Cannon Barrage utilized. Top side of the map, that was Khan clearing out that one, making sure that CuVee couldn't get some extra time. SKT is going to pick up the third Drake, but it's a Cloud, so Gen.G, of course, not as worried about that one going down. The damage in the Drake department has already been done. As Faker going a bit aggressively onto CuVee here, goes into his Shroud. Clid in the mid lane alongside Teddy and Effort. As the Park the Ezreal in mid certainly is going to be a strat that Gen.G are now going to try and utilize.
Well, at this point, Ocean Dragon is actually a breath of fresh air right now for Gen.G, and here's the issue.
A sea breeze,
I talked about. So, you don't have poke on your team composition. Your champions, despite having 2 Infernal Dragons, are not strong enough at 18 minutes to just face roll dive tier 2 turrets. And so why does SK Telecom, or why a lot of pro teams in the world do this, why is Akali pushing again? They're just playing ping pong over and over, and the gold deficit isn't really increasing.
Well, I mean, it is 6,000. Sorry, 5,000. So it is.
It was 4.5.
Yeah, I guess that was the result of the Dragon fight.
Right. It's extremely small, and they're playing ping pong instead of finding ways to actually say, hey, Gen.G, you're no longer allowed to get gold inside of this lane unless you want to come break it, thus forcing you to overextend, and now you have to fight us when you're at a deficit.
And also creates a moment that SKT control, right?
Exactly.
They know what the answer has to be.
Thus you freeze.
And therefore, the freeze is going to work. Right. And especially because they have a composition that relishes that moment.
Right. It wants to fight. It wants to
it doesn't want to fight around a turret, guys. That's all we're
Exactly.
saying. It doesn't want a turret to be there, so they do want their own turret to be there, right? Like
they want their own turret.
But the siege is not something that this composition is very capable of. Unless you use Fate's Call to dive, but that's if SKT is really far ahead, which is not really part of a win condition necessarily. As here in the mid lane, Ruler is very capable of holding on to this, but now as we tick over to 20 minutes into the game, this is where SKT can find those fights around the Barons, things like that. As waves are being shoved in everywhere. 1-3-1 is the opportunity here for SKT. It's not exactly the greatest 1-3-1 comp, but when you've got double Infernal and a 60k gold lead, it does turn a composition like this into something that can potentially get the 1-3-1 working.
And, well, SK Telecom, the other thing that they'll have going for them if they do keep eating all of these dragons is the Elder.
Yep.
Will be on their side.
And the enemy red buff is also on their side. This is the thing. If you keep shoving these waves in, you can deny enemy jungle camps. That is something that you can do. You always keep the waves pushed up, so you deny enemy vision as well. I mean, there's reasons to not freeze as well as there's reasons to freeze. But in this game, we're just recommending that freezing would have been a really cool idea for SKT to create an opportunity to get some picks.
Yep.
Right now, I mean, it's not necessarily that the onus is on them to really get anything done, though, because SKT are now in a winning position, and they want to find just an opportunity to get some soul vision around this Baron that they definitely don't have right now, and then try and take control that way.
I will say that a lot of that is mostly due to the double Infernal Dragon.
Yes.
The 5,000 gold lead, we talked about this in the pick ban. That wouldn't be the biggest deal. If you just look at the items on the members of SK Telecom, if you remove the double Infernal Drake, it's really not that scary when you consider how Ezreal and Corki conduct themselves in a fight.
Yeah.
But it's the stat amplification coming from those two dragons that actually make it so if you're a Gen.G fan, you sort of sigh and just say to yourselves, well...
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's done this weird thing where it's changed a lot of abilities from, you know, CC and frustrating, like a Cannon Barrage, something like that. That goes from, you know, being an ability that would slow you down a little bit to an orbital nuke that could actually just destroy you. And I mean, I know it might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it just does shut things up a little bit of a notch.
You ever get to the Raptor camp in TFT and roll no items?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how Gen.G feels.
The worst is like rolling like one item, like a Negatron cloak, on the first round of minions, and then just getting nothing from Krugs, and you're like, why am I playing this game? And that is the worst feeling. It happened to Papa and I at the same time in a game.
I love
to
when,
both of us at the same time.
I love when stages 1 through 3 against the neutral camps, you get no items, and then you look over at some of the other players and Santa visited.
Oh, no.
It's raining presents.
Yeah, exactly right. They've got like Morellonomicon Garen and then like double Rageblade Vayne behind it. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess you win then. Cool. I also really love when you like make a decision to go a certain kind of comp and then just get like only items that do nothing for that comp. You know, it's like I want to play Rangers, and then you just get only Tear of the Goddess from everything. Yeah, and like, man, if I had decided to go a Katarina comp, things would be great right now. But no, not so much.
Was that an Infernal? Wow.
That was an Infernal. SKT picked that one up for free. No worries there at all. Now they're going to be able to transition some of their vision towards the top side of the map. They did want to continue their monopoly on these Drakes and actually pushing to an Infernal, as Drake number 5 is going to be great news here for SKT, because they'll create a situation in the late game, if they do make it to 35 minutes, where Elder for Baron is going to be a decision that SKT can dictate, which is very similar to what we're talking about with the freeze. That is a win-win for SKT, because if they go for a trade, then SKT will always win.
Well, at this stage, Gen.G have to be extremely cautious. As Kalista...
Wow, we're just starting it.
Yeah, they can start it. Now, they do have the double Infernal, the Ocean Dragon, and they have everything their way, but you can still see that they're still being respectful about Gen.G's ability to really be a nuisance with the Corki and the Ezreal from this closed quarter area of the blue side jungle. And this is one of the advantages to scaling team compositions on blue side, is if you are in the vicinity of your blue side jungle, it is very easy to turtle if you have pokey kinds of champions. And obviously if you're red side, being behind your red buff, you can do it likewise. Historically, it's actually birthed certain metas in the past. Most notably Lethality Varus.
Yep.
Very, very long time ago, once upon a time.
Loved Lethality Varus. When he was a mid laner, when you'd have players like Marin and Godby on LGD playing Rumble Varus every single game, when you could die from a screen away and have no idea why. It was good fun. That composition never really worked for LGD at that point in time, but certainly a lot of fun to watch back in the LPL days of old.
All right, well, at this point, the gold gap is now only at 5,000. Just under it.
Yep, and that has been a game that's stagnated for a very long time. And we do need to reaffirm that SKT have control of the Dragons, right? So they've still been getting more, as there's the depth charge. SKT may have found their moment to strike. Faker finds the backline. Cannon Barrage right on top of where Teddy is. The final chapter is going to come in, but CuVee That was not the abyssal voyage you wanted to take, and in fact, didn't even. He was just caught out of position, and SKT, they found a time to strike. Yes, it was in the making for about 15 minutes, but they eventually found it, and it was successful.
Yeah, and now they're going to reward themselves with, oh, no, not quite. Oh, yes, minions.
Yep.
Middle tier 1 turret. CuVee, he does have teleport available, and SK Telecom, they might just be wanting to take it really safe. You know what, give me a quick opportunity here to criticize Open Drake. Look at how effective it is.
They've got health back now.
Nope.
They sort of did. Khan's like, see, look.
Takes 30
there
seconds.
You go.
Now look at his HP bar.
Boop.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a boop, actually.
It wasn't much of a boop.
Probably should have said a different, made a different sound. So we're going to have a look at this fight yet again. Faker diving into the backline really nicely, avoids Peanut from getting any follow-up in this one. And then as soon as Ruler dies, it is all too easy just to take down CuVee. One of the supports was going to be dead. The you and me allowed life to survive, but only a survival, not a one-team fight, that's for sure. And
this is the battle of mental fortitude at this point. Why was Gen.G pushing that far up? And obviously you can see that SK Telecom were quick to capitalize and punish, even if they are being really cautious now at almost 27 minutes with their advantage. They obviously just don't want to throw it away.
Yeah, and also they did straight up throw away leads against KT as well in that series. So you could imagine that they're a little bit worried about what could happen if things go wrong. So wanting to play slow and steady, but Effort, he's decided he doesn't want to. He's going for a huge flank onto Gen.G right now. Fate's Call is, of course, there in case he got caught out and turned on. So I liked the safety of that play, as well as it being so aggressive. Blue trinkets, I believe, have been used up on Gen.G's side. They will have to check this Baron Pit with a True Shot Barrage before anything else. Do notice that SKT haven't started it just yet. Take off to the side. Shuriken backflip, going to get a fair bit of damage here onto CuVee. Another round of Q and the empowered auto. But it's Tom Kench. He's gonna be pretty tanky, and he's gonna survive for quite some time. Sunfire Cape as well as the Righteous Glory completed. Gen.G getting a bit frisky, but that's because the Infernal Drake is up in 1 second.
They really should not attempt to capture this dragon. It's gonna be pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
If they even think about trying to do this.
Well, I believe they don't have vision on where Clid is, so the Xin Zhao getting into the backline could certainly be a thing. Kuzan might actually face check him. Audacious Charge comes through, package delivered. Uses a mini equalizer there as the Cannon Barrage on top was placed a little bit oddly from Khan. But you can see Clid and Faker actually corralling Gen.G. Gen.G, unbeknownst to them, they're lying in wait, looking for more. SKT move over, they have control of this Drake now. As there goes the Rift Scuttler. And
National
Gen.G
Geographic.
Forced to go for this 50-50 Peanut. He's kicked out of the way and he's not able to take that one down. Triple Infernal, the final chapter may just be that for Gen.G. His effort is very, very low, but he's not dead yet. Ruler now, can he actually control this fight? Is the question. Khan eventually goes down. It is going to be the flash from Kuzan that gets it. There are rockets, there are arcane shifts, but Ruler is a long way away from this one. And Clid is going to get himself out. Abyssal Voyage. As Faker makes it into the brush. Teleports topside, and he's just going to farm.
He's going to go back to getting the wave. Now he does have that Gunblade, so he's going to be able to heal back up.
25 seconds, and then Khan is able to teleport back as well, which is why you don't see Gen.G running towards the Baron.
As poorly as SKT played out the capture of that dragon, and then the posturing around it, you got to... or everyone got to catch a glimpse of how strong the Gen.G comp is.
Yeah,
despite how far behind they are. Imagine this on even footing. Look at the amount of damage, but also look at how SK Telecom is posturing. They don't have any of their abilities available. Faker is inside of the Dragon Pit. Teddy is kiting in. They're continuing forward. Khan's moving forward to get a parlay on the Tom Kench that has 2,000 HP worth of Grayskin, going way too far forward. Kuzan really quick to Valkyrie forward, punish him for his mispositioning. Yumi coming in onto Clid.
They got every flash bar Clids in order for SKT to escape, right?
An example of a fundamental problem with the SK Telecom team composition. Take away their 3 Infernal Dragons and the 8,000, 9,000 gold lead, and what does this game look like at this stage?
The complete opposite.
Yeah. It's just one side. So this is sort of what I've
That being said, I mean, like, that's why this comp was picked from SKT's side, is to get to this point where they have a lead. Yeah.
Right.
And their composition plays so well around neutrals, you have to expect that you're going to be able to pick up dragons with this style of composition. So it's not like they RNG Drakes really well, because no matter what the Drakes were, that was where they were going to be fighting, because that's what SKT's composition can theoretically do. But Gen.G's is very, very strong. If they can ever start chasing you down, start CCing you over and over again, and the DPS out of this comp can truly shine in the Ezreal and in the Corki with their maneuverability and just straight up damage per second.
They're actually doing Baron really quickly. Blue Trinket comes down. Gen.G is aware. That's a really nice True Shot Barrage.
Yep, Cannon Barrage, though, is going to stop them from getting in there. CuVee didn't use his spellbook in order to get himself a smite, so they're not able to get forward. Peanut has to leap in order to get himself out, but the Grey Health is going to dissipate, and that is going to be the first kill going over to Teddy. Over the wall is Effort. He does go golden, though, and Teddy will have the opportunity. No, already used that ultimate, so unable to save him. And now, SKT's getting routed. Kuzan and Ruler, they are the reason why this Gen.G composition is feared at this stage of the game, and they are able to stave off any further aggression. However, damage being done. SKT now have 3 minutes of Baron buff.
And they have control over the red buff. They're going to be able to steal it away. I believe that it goes on to Clid. Yep, it's Faker now going to steal away the golems. Also taking a look at the levels, SK Telecom are comfortably ahead there as well. Take a look at the Baron. Gangplank ultimate comes down. Effort waiting on the side, able to land an anchor onto Gen.G. Faker comes over the wall, lands the Shuriken onto Peanut, follows him up.
Yeah, I actually thought that he needed more damage, but I think the triple Infernal confused him. His calculations a little bit off. He murdered him without even having to use the ultimate. Yep. Now going to have that one back off cooldown, so no harm, no foul. Almost have his Rabbiden's death cap as well. There are a whole bunch of items on Teddy also. He's got a 700 gold bounty, just quietly 2-0 and 5. 2-0-6, in fact, for Clid. So went from his 0-3-0 Xin game that was absolutely horrible to watch to this performance, and I know a lot of you were probably cringing when you saw Clid picking up this this Xin for good reason, but really glad that he's found himself. And Khan has gone for probably the greediest build you can possibly go for on GP. Even the Swifty boots, just amazing. There is no Sterix in here. He has a stopwatch, and that is the closest thing to anything even slightly defensive. I love it.
He's really making use of the triple Infernal Dragon. He wants to hit hard, so now SK Telecom, the Baron is going to dissipate.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to get too much work done. That being said, you can understand why, right? Because we already illustrated this composition sucks at sieging.
It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
At sieging, you need Baron to end. Now,
6 Drakes.
Yeah, they are going to get 6 dragons. That is extremely, extremely scary.
So once they get the Elder Drake, that means that, like, basically if Effort lands a dredge line under an enemy turret, they just straight up don't care and they kill everyone, right? Like, that's how it works.
If you thought a tier 3 Aurelion Soul pre-nerf was scary, you haven't seen this. Okay?
I think you're underselling tier 3 Aurelion Soul pre-nerf.
No.
I think you are. If anyone's played Teamfight Tactics, they're very confused about what you're trying to say. Because, like, that is the scariest thing in the world. You don't get scarier than that, and you're ruining any ability for anyone to make analogies about it ever again. Like, that is fear incarnate. Well, if it's anywhere near that level, then I'm scared just thinking about it.
6 Drake triple Infernal is really, really scary.
Yeah.
But this Baron buff is going to dissipate, which I'm really, really sad to say. It's almost an even game when it comes to that Elder Dragon fight. Gen.G are actually, as crazy as it sounds, almost going to be on even footing.
Which is weird to talk about when it's
right.
an 11,000 gold lead, right? Normally, like, we're talking about an 11,000 gold lead, and we're like, well, we're just waiting for SKT to figure out a way to end the game. But there's a little voice in your mind that's saying, yeah, Ruler and Kuzan can kite pretty well, you know? This is a pretty low-range composition right now, and there's a Yuumi in there. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And also, remember, this is an A Warrior enchant Xin Zhao, not going to be doing as much and as the game rolls on, and Peanut's gone full tank on his Jax.
Now, the one thing that they have going for them, like I was mentioning earlier, though, is the base levels. You take a look, it's 2 levels on the AD carry. They're down 1 on life and effort, but they're up 1 in mid lane, they're up 3 in the jungle, which is massive.
Yeah, that's the insane part.
Super, super, super insane.
And that's what they got themselves instead of going for the freeze.
Right.
We want to illustrate that. That's not Peanut just like, you know, staying in base and perusing items too much. That's because SKT have been destroying his jungle camps over and over again, and he's been suffocated out of this game. That is what you get if you don't go for that freeze play that we were explaining before. And so they have been able to make the Jax pretty irrelevant, honestly, this game. Which is what Clid experienced last time he was playing the Xin Zhao, so it probably feels pretty cathartic to have the opposite experience now. Really cool hat comes in for Faker. He's got his blasting one there as well. Void Staff, just a cooler version of like this cool cane that he's picked up for himself alongside his Gunblade, his cool book, and his timepiece. Is a pretty swag Kali right now.
Do you think he's trying to tell a story?
I think so.
I think he's an old man.
I think this is just his wardrobe.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool wardrobe, man. That's I think that's what a wizard would have.
Before this cast,
I think it's really actually a good thing. Yep.
Papa texted me, said he was thinking of me. He sent me these photos of these new limited edition Pokemon t-shirts that came out.
Oh.
He knew. He knew.
Wait, where are they? What?
There's 24 different designs.
Okay.
They're at Uniqlo.
Oh, they come. That is so cool. This dive is also pretty cool. As CuVee is going to have to pop the Grey Health, but that ain't going to stop you from heading towards the Death Chamber. That is just a great force coming in from SKT, and they've decided they don't need no Elder Drake. They're going to be able to take this one down. Remember, the chase potential, the actual damage that Gen.G has from relative safety really when there are a lot of cooldowns that are now down is frightening. However, Teddy still has Fate's Call. There is still Cannon Barrage, so they can't push into their jungle. Now with a minute till the Elder Drake, CuVee will be available. But our Baron is also just spawning. And this, we're getting towards the time where that impossible decision to make comes up.
Oh, it's
for
always
Gen.G.
Elder. It's always.
No, it's very easy for SKT to just say, we run it the Elder Drake.
Right.
However, if Gen.G decide to trade, they lose the game.
Yes.
If Gen.G tries to fight them, well, SKT takes the Elder Drake and wins the game.
Yeah, if they
if they lose the Smite War, right, then Gen.G gets a nothingness Elder Drake, and honestly, SKT could barely care. So going for a 50-50 isn't as much of a big deal either. So just start a fight around a neutral objective where your composition wants to fight anyway, and it's just win-win-win.
It is really scary, though.
Cannon Barrage flying forward. Ruler, depth charge is going to land on him as Faker finds it, dashes back. As there's the package delivery. Faker the Gunblade keeping himself alive for a very long time, and Peanut eventually takes him down, but has to waste so much time as SKT, still with 4 healthy members, are able to move down the mid lane. That play from Faker was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really big, and Peanut's going to go down.
Oh, yeah, Teddy just capitalizing on better vision. Unfortunately for Peanut, he found himself on the wrong side of the rift, and there is a pretty sweet Elder Drake with about 1 billion control wards around it. No way that SKT are missing out on this one. Render's even there for Teddy. They have set this one up absolutely perfectly. And yeah, that's we're running out of slots to put more dragons on the SKT right now.
It's gonna definitely be over after this Baron play.
This is the game of teamfight tactics, by the way, where you get 3 Force of Natures and you've got characters going beyond the end of the game screen. Afterwards, this is what the Drakes are going to represent in this particular game.
You're getting 4 items per neutral.
The true shot barrage, the truest of shot barrages.
They move out of the way.
I love how holy that looked as it was flying through the air. As we're waiting for respawns, Faker comes back up. He's got himself a Baron buff as well, and they can 1-3-1 their way to an over game at this point in time if they want. 872 AP for an Akali. Okay, all right.
Wait, did that say 603 AD on Callista?
What? Surely not. He's got 255 AD.
Wait.
That's just so much damage, dude.
I want to see the Callista, 470 on Pink Xin Zhao.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a GA. There's an extra BF sort of damage right there.
Oh,
Faker
okay.
able to dodge his way, shuriken
Nice.
backflips back to his
I want to see
shroud.
It is at 603.
Good God.
All right, well,
And he's got like health shred in 2 different items. Like, I just want to see someone land an auto attack.
oh, SKT, okay. They can steamroll the turret right now.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Elders
Counter barrage comes in.
Yeah, you're gone.
Yeah, Peanut
See you
takes-
next game.
Oh, good God. CuVee just evaporates. The final chapter is going to be read to Gen.G right here as the... Okay, pierce damage is certainly pretty high. Nexus turrets, are they going to go for it? Of course, 2 inhibitors already down.
It's all over. There's no way Gen.G can resist.
This is
the
just
7
SKT
dragons.
wandering towards Gen.G and Gen.G having absolutely nothing they can do about it. Faker dancing around the team fight towards the end here as it's pretty elementary. SKT wander forward and destroy the Nexus.